Welcome back, you guys, to NRL Fantasy Analysis with me going through the last 4 games of round 23, starting with the Knights and the Dogs, and they got away with this one, didn't they? A lot closer than you would have hoped if you're a Knights fan, and I suppose we thought that they were really going to dominate this last month, but hasn't been the case so far. Obviously, a couple of close games, these first two, and some not great scores for Mr. Callum Ponga, unfortunately. Not what I expected, but we had a couple other guys in their team, in Jay Clifford and Connor Watson, who took the spoils this week for the highest scores. And Clifford doing really well there, just in everything. Not really someone who was fantasy relevant, but he's done really well since coming over, averaging 46, and you can't really say too much about that for a number 6. Most of the high scorers in the NRL Fantasy coming from the number 7 role. So awesome for him. And if you're holding Hot Boy Connor Watson, I still can't believe he's leaving the Knights, but 68 in his 62 minutes there, 42 tackles and 148 run meters, so 56 in base was awesome. To go along with no misses again, he's been really good in that realm. So 585k getting a 68 from him was awesome, higher than what Joshy Jackson got this week, unfortunately. Lockie Lewis doing his thing. Ryan James got a try, so 59, he's 43. Bailey Biondi with 56 in his 58 minutes, so really strong. 47 tackles for him. He was awesome. And then, Barnett being his solid self with a try assist, couple of attacking stats, no negatives at all, was awesome. Pearson 50, somebody who's a lot of people have spoken about is he a decent option, and he's just slight bit back from all the top guys, unfortunately. Josh Jackson not playing the full 80 this time, so 50 points for him in his 66. If he played the 80, you would have expected about a 60. So can't really complain with him. No attacking stats, 44 tackles, 73 run meters. So that was completely fine. I suppose not much we can do. Bradley was 48. Lukey Thompson was 45. Just hasn't stepped up into that keeper category. Corey Horsburgh with just that PPM beast that he normally always is. Just needs that big minutes like he did at the start of last year for sure. Flanagan was okay for his 38, and then Ponga 35. So he was in a bit of everything, but the running meters were there. Obviously, a couple of offloads, a couple of tackle breaks, but just not too much going on. One line break. So for him, we're looking for more attacking stats. Obviously, putting on a few tries and scoring himself, and that wasn't to be. So he's going to be really cheap come next year, guys. So just keep that in mind when you're picking your starting teams. Next week is a lot of low scores in this one. Coming along down to your beautiful players like Joe Stimson, Corey Allen with 1 in his 80 minutes. So he's had a real tough year, hasn't he? But that's all to say on that one. Aaron Shook with a little bit of a lower score as well. Okay, on to my favourite team, the Cows, and we said that Eels would finally come back, probably a little bit closer than you would have thought, given that Eels are meant to be a top team, and they've just been struggling, haven't they? And a couple of big games from Wonga Blake and Mitch Moses helped them out. 3 try assists for Mitch, obviously a try, and 12 tackle breaks for Wonga, and this is kind of what they wanted. Bring him over from Panthers is that strike weapon, and he obviously played more of that role this game. Just too inconsistent normally for to be fantasy relevant, but you see he has those games where he gets a 70 or 80, and you're like, oh, he's got that in him, but then he goes back to a 10, a 20, or 30. So Mitch Moses 69, coming off a couple of lower games for him. It was nice to see him just be really consistent. 3 to 4 dropouts, 365 kick meters, 3 try assists, just dominated the game. So he was great. Good to see Drinkwater with 63, Lane having a decent game along with Dylan Brown. Tommy Dearden, if you've picked him up and held him the whole time, you've done pretty well. 56 again. Joey Lussick, who I brought in a few weeks ago, 73 minutes this time for 51 tackles. Was more of around the range as to what we thought he'd get, which is good. And then Gutherson with 46 was okay. You hold on to all these guys. Papali'i with a couple of lower scores in the middle now. 46 minutes was a bit weird, but again you're not trading him out. You're not doing anything with him anyway at this stage. Lukey with 37 in his 54 with a try. Seems to be doing well on that front for sure. Hamiso came in and played. Lolo did not. Of course, the one we wanted and needed to play. So he did okay. Back in the centres there with Holmes in a fullback with 29. And not too much else to talk about. Sivo with a pretty low one as well. So he's gotten real cheap this year, and a lower score from Cartwright. So all that money that he made has been evaporated really quickly. So that one there kind of went how we expected. This one was just such a special win for Roosters, obviously coming up against a Dragons team that hasn't been going that well, but to lose Kieran really early, and a little bit from one of the other players, Butcher was off early, Nat. Just to go along with all the other injuries they've had. So to come out and score 40 points, obviously led by Tedesco. Hutchison was awesome. Sammy Walker being moved back to the bench was interesting. But yeah, Teddy with 108, so it was an awesome captaincy option again against a lesser team in the Dragons. 12 tackle breaks, four try assists, 3 line breaks, 318 meters. So just just scores that we've been seeing from him, especially in the last month or so, just been really awesome. But yeah, a Tommy Trbojevic kind of style game where he's just putting on a million try assists and just taking over the game. I love how we say Tommy Trbojevic style when Teddy's been doing this for years, right? And he's the tried and true. It's just cool to see someone come in and average. He's obviously averaging in the 70s, Tommy. So we can say that this year. Hutchinson went really well. Amone, I really love watching him play. He's really, really good. Even no try assist, no nothing, and still picks up 71. Just no negatives apart from one missed tackle. So 27 tackles for 1 miss and just everything else in between. He was really, really good. Isaac Liu with a high game. Same as Sims playing in the middle, 50 tackles. So worked hard. Two turnover tackles. Lomax was solid. So he's building up as a really good finishing centre in these last few rounds. Obviously, since his return, he's pretty fresh. So as a lot of the teams and players tire, then he's ready to go back into it, and you can see why he's scoring pretty well. Good to see Verrills is doing great also. Getting a try assist each week, so he's getting a bit better at a dummy half, running the ball a bit more, so he's warming into the season nicely when they need him most, which is good. So Walker came off the bench, 38 minutes for 42, just got straight into it, try assist and a try, so he was good to watch. Dufty was just okay in his time on the park with 38. Joey Manu, 36 will take after how good he's been going all season, 48 total average, but losing 31k. Again, doesn't matter at this point, but only the one line break to tackle bust there for him, but we cop that. If you're thinking about DeBellin, just 50 minutes in the middle and not going as well in that one, unfortunately. Anyway, Alvaro there doing his best to keep that PPM really high. And Adam Kieran and Nat Butcher going off pretty early, which resulted in some slightly lower scores. So that's that game there. And then we'll finish off with the Broncos and the Warriors. This one was pretty good to watch, to be fair. Plenty happening, and we actually got to see Milford at heading back to close to his best with some of those really good bombs, the spiral bombs, floaty bombs that he does. 423 kick meters there, 2 try assists, a try, 150 run meters. He was great to watch. And if you captain Payne Haas like myself, 61 minutes for 75 points. He's so hard to stop. He always breaks. He pretty much always broke that first tackle, or carried them an extra 5 to 10 meters. His post contact meters would have been close to 100 after this game. I'll have to get someone to look up that one for us. But he was great. And if you're holding Walshy as well, he had kind of looked like the only player that was going to break the Broncos open. Just did a bit of everything for them. 7 tackle breaks, a little bit of kicking as well. He was good. Fanua Blake, if you picked him up, big minutes, big points for him. 65. Ewan Aitken in the centers. As a center in the second row, just really, really solid. Obviously got the try at the end there to go along with his 31 tackles, 6 tackle breaks. So he's always pretty dangerous if you have Farnworth. That's a nice 61 as well. I know my brother's sitting with Ethan Bullymore for some reason. I think he decided to listen to the Lone Scout in a Q&A, and then Bullymore was basically dropped from the team not long after that. So kudos to my brother for being able to pick up this 48 this week for someone that was just sitting on his bench. Curran obviously went off with 7 minutes to go. Not sure how he is. It didn't look great. He didn't look in a good way when he came off, but a little try there. Just not his best game. 6 missed tackles, unfortunately, for Joshy. So if you picked up him over Harry Grant, he obviously didn't go as well. But this happens sometimes with these guys. When just get those missed tackles and didn't run the ball. Like, he obviously played majority of the game on the edge, whereas last game was in the middle, which is a much better position for him. Jordan Ricky with a lower game at 41. In terms of the rest of the guys, Townsend come back and played. Eli Katoa was okay, almost scored a couple of times. Rabadi, another low one as well. So they're the 4 games. That's the rest of the week, guys. We'll jump in and go through all our team results. The people score went really well. Had a full 17, which is ideal. And my team had 15, which and didn't go as well, unfortunately, losing a few ranks. But we'll go through that one in our next video, guys. Hope you enjoyed that one. We'll catch you in the next one. See you later.